Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man your man could smell.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
What does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
It's a great day to be alive. It's a great day to be kicking it with you all on a Friday evening here on Theoretically Speaking. It's your boy, Theo Dorsey. We got C-Cat, the curator of vibes on the ones and twos, and we're talking pressure cooker. We're talking pressure here today because in the National Football League, no better topic than to talk about the quarterbacks, the gunslingers, the signal callers, and no better way to discuss them, of course, than to talk about the pressure they're facing, especially coming off of the latest guy to sign his deal, Trevor Lawrence, who finally spoke to the media yesterday. Trevor Lawrence feeling good. He's $200 million richer, guaranteed that is, and he's coming off of getting the biggest contract in Jacksonville Jaguars franchise history. He is the guy that they told us was going to be the next one, the Andrew Luck, the Peyton Manning. There were so many comps coming out of Clemson 3 years in. We haven't seen that, but we have seen a major payday and one that other quarterbacks across the National Football League could be jealous of. But with money typically comes pressure. With money and expectations comes a certain level of I need to produce. I need to show people why I have earned this, why this team should still continue to build around me, why I should be the fulcrum of a franchise. That's what the Jaguars told us when they made him the richest player in Jaguars history. But then I do see the article that came out, and since Trevor Lawrence has talked, the main talking point for the former Clemson quarterback is, I'm good. There is no pressure. There's no added pressure this offseason that comes with the big payday because he feels fortified in where he is. I'm happy for him, but it got me thinking there are some other quarterbacks, Jordan Love, Dak Prescott, Tua Tagovailoa, maybe even Brock Purdy, who haven't got their major payday, who do still have something to prove their worth in the National Football League, to prove their value to their franchises, to their team. And so who is that quarterback going into 2024 that has the most added pressure from this offseason? Who has the most to prove come this fall when we kick things off finally, which it feels like, again, though the NFL never stops, and we're now in that somewhat of a dead period. I don't feel like we'll hear too many more contract signs. I don't feel like there's going to be too much more movement for a while here. C-Cat, I'm still waiting on Justin Simmons to get signed. Martin County product and former Denver Broncos safety Justin Simmons to find a home. Like, that's the most shocking part of this NFL offseason to me. Is there anything that you kind of are waiting on when it comes to NFL news right now?
I guess the possibility of a bombshell Dak signing, but maybe that would be something to talk about, but it didn't. No indications of it's coming now.
And that's the thing. The Dallas Cowboys have shown a certain level of trepidation to chain themselves to Dak Prescott. I don't know if it's because Jerry Jones wants to remain in the spotlight and have us talk about the Cowboys every other day because that's how they've remained relevant. Because the past 3 decades, it's not like it's been success that have kept them in the public light. But when it comes to pressure, Dak Prescott could be one of the quarterbacks that is added to that list. He could be one of the guys that you say needs to prove himself. But to me, especially given the state of the quarterback market right now, Jared Goff is locked up into a long-term extension with the Detroit Lions. He's good to go. Plus, he's coming off a year when he was in the NFC Championship game. Brock Purdy is fresh off a Super Bowl appearance. I know we don't give the guy the credit he likely deserves for what he means to that offense, what he means to Kyle Shanahan, and how he gets things going out there in the Bay. But he has a payday coming up, likely in January is when he becomes eligible for a contract extension. I think it's clear and cut right now, especially given the fact that we've heard from Cameron Wolfe of NFL Network, from Marcel Louis-Jacques of ESPN, who covers the Dolphins as well, that Tua Tagovailoa's payday is coming. It was supposed to have happened by now. I remember last time we talked to Cameron Wolfe a couple of weeks ago, C-Cat, I believe he said it was going to happen when the clock turned June. It's June 21st. Nothing has happened. Nothing has shaked on the Dolphins' frontier, and that's why, to me, with Trevor Lawrence paid, with Jared Goff paid, with a lot of quarterbacks feeling some sense of comfortability, It is the Miami Dolphins Hawaiian quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, who has to feel like he has the most pressure going into 2024. And the main reason is, who has had to prove themselves at more junctures in their football career than Tua, the lefty with the Dolphins? I mean, he's been doing this since Alabama, right? He's been doing this since when he was actually a guy that jumped in for Jalen Hurts, but then there was a lot of discourse as to whether or not he should be the starter that next year. Of course, he won that out, and then Jalen Hurts comes back. I was actually at that SEC championship game where Jalen Hurts comes in for a hobbled Tua Tagovailoa and wins that game for them, and then the discourse starts all over again, questioned at every turn. Then he gets to the National Football League, and the questions around Tua is, can he stay healthy, right? The question is he a guy that propels an offense forward, or is he benefiting from a good system with Mike McDaniel? You have to prove to us, Tua, that you can play 17 games. You have to prove to us, Tua, that you can elevate an offense and create scoring opportunities and not just dump the ball off to a guy and let him run 40 yards for a touchdown. Well, he did that. Last year, Tua Tagovailoa led the league in passing yards. The year before that, he led the league in passer rating. He just played a full season healthily. Now, people point to, with Tua, the fact that the Dolphins are 6-14 against playoff teams in his tenure with Mike McDaniel. People point to, with Tua, the fact that just 2 years ago, he was considering retiring from the National Football League because of the concussion issues and whatnot. All of that is in his rear view. He still has to prove himself to be a winner, though, and he still is currently on the fifth-year option for the Miami Dolphins. Unequivocally, in 2024, Tua Tagovailoa is the quarterback with the most pressure to perform, and it's mainly because, number one, the Dolphins have been hesitant. They have yet to sign him to that long-term contract number, and I'm sure the Lawrence deal and the Goff deal is what are making those waters more murky now, because that's now the starting point for a guy like Tua, who has put up better numbers than those guys. But then also, the pressure for Tua is it feels more elongated than any other quarterback in the National Football League, but because he's going to have to put up the numbers during the regular season, and he will be judged by how well the Dolphins' offense clicks during the regular season. Waddle got paid. Tyreek is under a massive deal right now. Mike McDaniel has already been lifted up as one of the great offensive minds in the NFL. He's not going to take the blame. If anything goes wrong with the Dolphins on the offensive side of the ball this year, the fingers will be pointing at Tua. But it's not enough to be good in November. It's not enough even to be good in December. If the Dolphins don't break the longest active professional streak of not winning a playoff game in all of sports, it's not NFL, it's not just NBA. In all of the major four sports, the Dolphins have been 24 years without winning a playoff game. If Tua Tagovailoa cannot deliver that, and the Dolphins have him playing on that fifth-year option, his future in the league is going to be beyond uncertain. Because if the Dolphins, who have him in-house and have literally seen this guy, worked with this guy, he's now shed some pounds, shed some weight so he could be a little bit more fluid this year. Remember, last year he put pounds on so he can remain healthy. He's doing everything he can to prove his worth to this Dolphins franchise. If they put him out there on the fifth-year option and this team does not break that playoff win drought, do you even see a future home for Tua Tagovailoa? What franchise is going to commit long-term to a guy when the Dolphins and Miami Gardens have been reluctant to do so far? Now, I, for one, do think they should pay Tua Tagovailoa, but until he does get paid, he is currently the quarterback in the NFL with the most amount of pressure on them. Tweet at us at ESPN West Palm or at Theo Dorsey TV. Which quarterback in the NFL, based off of what you've seen happen this offseason, rolling into the fall, has the most pressure going on them to perform in 2024? Pressure bursts pipes. It also makes diamonds.
Waiting a long time to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad. It's good. It also makes diamond or ice. Which quarterback in the NFL, to you, has the most pressure going on them right now? C-Cat? It's got to be Tua Tagovailoa, right? Who else do you feel like in the NFL has to show you something in 2024, or you're out on them? You're just all the way out.
It's tough because in the AFC, we have a titan of the game right now with Patrick Mahomes. We are in the Patrick Mahomes era of the NFL, just as we were in the Patriots era of the NFL just a couple of decades ago.
Are you about to say Patrick Mahomes has the most pressure because he's got to get that three-peat?
No, okay. I'm not going to say that. What I'm saying, I said that to say this. Anyone in the AFC, if they fall short of winning the conference, who can blame them? Like, we're not really expecting anyone other than the Chiefs to come out of the AFC for the foreseeable future. So it has to be a quarterback who's in the NFC. It has to be a quarterback who is far into their career. They've had many, many chances and have fallen short of those expectations time and time again. I brought him up 15 minutes ago, and I'll bring him up again. It's got to be Dak Prescott.
Wow.
You are in the most scrutinized football market in the country, in the league, in Dallas. You have the most scrutinizing owner in the NFL with Jerry Jones, and you haven't gotten that contract yet. It's got to be Dak Prescott because one of these days, the Cowboys got to show up in an NFC championship game. They're seeing the success across the division with the Eagles making it to the Super Bowl. It's time in Jerry world that you need to see Dak lead that team there.
That's actually it's a great point. It's a great point. The only problem with that is Dak Prescott has so much leverage right now. Like, Dak Prescott, because the Cowboys didn't commit to him earlier, I can see him being a guy that demands $60+ million a year next offseason if the Dallas Cowboys aren't forced to pay him that now. It's hard for me to say a guy has pressure on him when he already kind of feels like he has his future secured with a franchise.
I guess, but when you're a quarterback in the NFL, outside of the other positions, you're kind of taken care of financially. It's all about winning now.
Legacy.
It's like ring culture we talk about in the NBA. It is ring culture for quarterbacks in the NFL, and Dak is feeling that pressure because it's not about rings. It's not showing up in the big game. It's showing up in the big game before the big game, and he hasn't done it yet.
Right. He hasn't done it yet, and when he does sign that big contract, it's only going to get harder for him. It's only going to get increasingly tough in a salary cap sport like the National Football League is, and that makes me think, because for our off-season football report for Baptist Health Orthopedic Care, I got to go to a quote from Trevor Lawrence from yesterday, who sparked this whole conversation about which quarterback in the NFL has the most pressure on them. He feels alleviated of that pressure. He feels good, and part of that is Trevor Lawrence is trying to play a little bit of PR right here. Trevor Lawrence, here he is yesterday in his presser talking to the media after signing his richest deal in Jaguars history, third richest in the NFL right now. Here he is, I think, playing a little bit of PR because he realizes he did not reset that quarterback market like he thought he would.
Obviously, there was certain amount that you, as a player, you want to make, and you want to be in the market value, all of those things, but you also want to keep the team in a good position to where we can, pay other guys and have players around me and do all those things, and from a salary cap perspective, and I don't know how all that works, but just I felt like my agent and Trent and the whole front office did a good job of kind of maneuvering all those things where it felt like we all won in the end, and it puts us in a position to where we can still have a lot of talent here. We can bring guys in, or we can keep the guys that we have. That was something that was important to me because it wasn't worth it to me to sacrifice, being able to have a good team just so I can make some money.
I don't believe you for 1 minute, Trevor Lawrence. You didn't demand a major deal, a market resetting deal from the Jacksonville Jaguars. You haven't done anything in your 3 seasons as a starting quarterback for the Jaguars to prove that out. You were the promised prince. You were the next great one, and you have underwhelmed and underachieved so far. Did you deserve the contract? Yes. Did you deserve some security? Yes. You didn't deserve the mega deal, and that's why you didn't reset the quarterback market, not like you're trying to be Tom Brady and set the Jacksonville Jaguars up for a successful future. The Jaguars don't even know success. You know who does know success? Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. I mean, are you experiencing foot and ankle pain and need to see an expert in the field? Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has a team of foot and ankle orthopedic surgeons and specialists who are regarded as leaders in their specialty. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho to learn more today. Easy for me to say. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care combines its resources of experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology to provide advanced orthopedic, foot and ankle, joint replacement, spine, and sports medicine care. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho for more information today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has offices conveniently located in Palm Beach County through the Florida Keys. Learn more by visiting baptisthealth.net/ortho. Yeah, Yeah, like I didn't want more money. I was trying to do it for the good of the team. I want other guys to get paid. That's like the Heat saying, well, we didn't want to beat the Boston Celtics in the first round. We want to see them get a ring. Want to see them have fun. Not likely. But coming up, we're going to talk to a Boston Celtics reporter talking about those moments in the locker room following the championship and see who he thinks specifically is the key reason why the Celtics won the title. Was it the Finals MVP or was it Jason Tatum? We learn next. C-Cat and Theo Dorsey is Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is Theoretically Speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
You know, C-Cat, my wife always says everything comes with something. And last night I got myself a good hoop session in with the guys at Perseverance Basketball. We went 4-1, no biggie. Hit a couple game winners. It was a good time. But I think I may have either broken or severely jammed my thumb on my left hand.
Oh, no.
So the saddest part about this is, number one, I got to take some time off of going back to the basketball court. It had been a couple years anyways. The biggest detriment to me hurting my left hand, and this is how I know I've grown, I've matured, well, I might not be able to golf for like a week and a half now. That absolutely stinks. But when I do get back off the mend, I'll be right there where you know I go to improve my golf game all the time. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. I mean, like I say, it's ugly outside these days. It's raining every other day. It's hot. It's hot as all get out. And the great thing about the Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center is I can go indoors, a 2,000 square foot indoor facility where they have 3 different hitting bays, ball flight technology. It's the perfect setup for you to get into the hitting bays and make things shake. It's the perfect setup, right? But outside of that, my coach there, Coach Pete, he gets my game right all the time. I need to work on the irons a little bit more. The driver's obviously erratic as I'm a novice to the game. But, you know, they say you drive for the show, you putt for the dough. And when I get on that green, I'm at least three into the hole. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I'm at least 3 into the hole. So Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center, KaiserGolfCenter.com. It's right there on the flagship campus of Kaiser University. Go check them out. Tell them Theo sent you. So on a day like today where the Boston Celtics, well, they wrapped up their South Florida run and they're back in their hometown celebrating the 18th championship in franchise history, I am elated. I'm excited to be bringing in a guy who has great knowledge of these Celtics because, well, he was in the locker room after the Celtics won Game 5 against the Mavericks at home and celebrated on that parquet floor. His name is Kari Thompson. He writes for the Celtics and the Patriots for Boston.com, and here he is on Theoretically Speaking. KT, how you feeling today, man?
Theo, what's up, big? I'm feeling great, man. Feeling like my hometown team just won something.
Now, this is the incredible thing about you, Kari. You are a guy, and again, me and Kari's days go back to Hampton University. We actually went to J School together. My very first show, before it was Theoretically Speaking, it was the Give and Go with Kari Thompson. And this is actually my first time knowing you as a guy that first was a fan of the Celtics and now a guy that's covering the Celtics to witness a championship in real life. Was it everything you dreamt it to be, especially after this long run with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? Everybody thinking it would never happen. You kept running up against that big bad wall in the Miami Heat, and they finally broke through. What was that feeling like when the confetti finally dropped and you saw those two guys specifically celebrating in that locker room?
Okay, so here's the wild part about it, Theo. When you're dreaming about it, right, you're picturing that you're seeing Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown holding the trophy. You're seeing the confetti falling. You're not picturing that you're standing in the tunnel with a bunch of other riders waiting for security to let you in. That was the part that was different from the dream. Now, however, I was in the locker room. I did get to see those guys pop champagne. I did get to see guys wring out towels soaked with alcohol on Jason Tatum's head. I did get to see Derek White pretend to yank out the tooth that he chipped, and he's locking eyes with another reporter, and she's like horrified. Like, how is he going to do this right in front of my face? And as soon as she realizes he's joking about it, he shakes his head, shakes a champagne bottle, turns to me. And I go, Derek, how's it feel to be a champ? And Derek goes, I love champagne. I love champagne. And then he hits the shimmy and starts dancing.
He hits the what afterwards?
He hits the shimmy, bro. He started shimmying.
Oh, my gosh. And here's the thing. Anything is excusable once you are a champion. Like, I can excuse Jason Tatum and his pre-contrived championship celebrations. I can excuse Derek White and his shimmy and his yanking of the tooth out. And I can also excuse the fact that Kristaps Porzingis, I felt bad for the guy up there on the podium with Lisa Salters. He just won a championship. Everything he's been through since day one in the NBA when he was booed, drafted to the New York Knicks, and the two questions he got up on that podium was all about the injury. I mean, you were there. You watched the whole playoffs. You covered them for the Celtics. Just how bad was it for Kristaps Porzingis, and how much did he want to play in Game 5? Because it sounds like he circumvented some medical measures to get on the court.
So, Theo, he had 2 injuries. The first one kept him out like pretty much the whole playoffs. He had a calf injury, right?
Yeah.
And which happened in the first round against the Heat. You know, you guys saw that down in South Florida. And so he takes like a month to heal from that. But he's ready to go for Game 1 of the finals. And you got Game 1, he was awesome. Like, he was healthy. Like, he was the best player on the floor in Game 1. But then when we're in Dallas, we get an email saying that Kristaps has another rare foot/ankle injury that's completely separate from the calf injury. And they're like, we're going to take it day to day. And he wasn't quite right for Game 3, so they sat him. And same deal with Game 4. But, like, Game 5, with the chance to win a championship, I mean, Joe Mazzulla said this on a recent interview. Like, Kristaps was like, I'm playing. Like, I don't care what the doctors say. He was like, I'm going to make an effort to play this game. And you could tell, dude, he did not look right. Like, he was not moving well, not rotating it well at all on screen, like, on three-point attempts. Like, they given up, like, a bunch of three-pointers when he was in the game. He didn't play all that great. He had, like, 5 points and 1 rebound. But the fact that he tried to gut it out and get out there was huge. I mean, much respect to that guy.
Kari Thompson with Celtics.com covering the Boston Celtics, the 2024 NBA champion Boston Celtics. It still pains me to say that. Kari Thompson with Boston.com. You can follow him at Twitter at Kari Thompson. He's here on Theoretically Speaking, talking Celtics and their championship. You mentioned Joe Mazzulla, Kari. Joe Mazzulla, I feel like I have never seen, maybe the last time I saw it was back in Eric Spoelstra's first year when everybody was doubting if he would still be the Miami Heat's head coach the next year after the bump with LeBron going into the huddle and the undermining of his coaching abilities. And now he's the best coach in the NBA. That's like not even a thing to say that gets any kind of backlash these days. Have you ever seen a coach go from 0 to 100 the way that Joe Mazzulla did? Last year, people thought he had no position, no kind of credence to be on that bench. And now not only is he a championship-winning coach in his second year, it feels like that aura is starting to brighten even greater. And the parquet floor beads. What was that again? The rosary out of the parquet floor. What do you know about that with Joe Mazzulla?
So Joe is very religious to the point where they asked him, because, this was the first time since the 70s that there were 2 black head coaches in the finals, and they asked him about it. And Joe obviously skipped over the question. It was like, I wonder how many of them were Christian.
Yeah. That's big for him. That's more important for him, right?
So, yeah, way more important. And so, but also dodging the race question. But as far as the rosary beads, so his assistant obviously knows that how important his faith was to him. So she went and got a piece of wood from the old parquet, and she made rosary beads out of them. So he carries them wherever he goes, and he prays with them before the home games for luck. And it just shows another side of his personality. And as far as your first part of the question, have I seen anything like this? No. One, because Joe had no experience. The Ime situation was weird. Ime was suspended for doing something he wasn't supposed to do. And Joe had to jump in, and his only head coaching experience before that was at Division II college, And the reason why I say I have a feeling like this is because nobody's been in a media market as crazy as Boston trying to do this and winning a title in the second year. I mean, some writers that I really respect were calling him to get fired less than a year into his job. I'm like, you guys are crazy. Like, how are you going to not let the man finish out the year, especially when they're one game away from the finals? Like, the title expectation here are ridiculous. And Joe, it took him a year, but eventually he met them all.
Well, Gerard Mayo is going to get a good, healthy taste of that at Foxborough, being a black head coach in Boston with that media market. Not saying anything, insinuating anything. I'm just saying I've seen from the outside looking in, it can be a little bit difficult. Kari Thompson with Boston.com. I keep saying Celtics.com. I got the green machine all on my mind right now. Time for me to stop letting you celebrate this and talk about the allure of the championship. It's time for me to get divisive like what Jason Kidd tried to do after game one. When you look at this team, Jaylen Brown, he rose up for the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. He got the Finals MVP as well. Jaylen Brown is a top what player in the NBA to you today? He didn't make an All-NBA team, but he proved it in the playoffs. Where does he rank amongst the players in the league today?
I think you got to give him top 10 for sure. I mean, The fact that he didn't make it All-NBA is ridiculous. I mean, dude, he's the Finals MVP. The Celtics are the best team far and away, and he was the most consistent player. Like, how are we even going to argue this? Like, who are you gonna put above him at his position? Like Booker? Like, is that the top shooting guard in the NBA? Like, I don't know, man.
So it's hard to define positions in the NBA today, right? Like between wings, guards, and bigs. Jaylen Brown, though, the regular season stats aren't there. But the one thing I can say about him, especially in comparison to Jason Tatum, it does feel like he elevates his game in the postseason and in the big moments, whereas Tatum, it feels like a flat line. Like he's really, really good. He's damn near great, but he's about that same level all the way through, whereas you notice the difference with Jaylen Brown as well as specifically his defense on Luka Doncic. Like there's going to be a legitimate argument about where he stands in the NBA next year, and I do wonder for you, how much has that actually permeated the locker room of the Celtics? Do they actually care who gets the credit between Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown?
Yeah, it was all about winning this year. Here's why. These dudes have been to the Eastern Conference Finals so many times, bro. And they lost to the Warriors, too, in the finals. Like, they've been here, done that. They've heard all the which Jay is better. They've heard, all the narratives and everything like that. This was the year that Tatum was finally like, I don't care how many points I score. I'm going to impact the game by leading with rebounding and defense. And Jaylen got a whole heck of a lot better because you talked about him, raising his game. That's different than him in last year. Like last year, Game 7, against the Heat, he had 8 turnovers.
Yeah.
It was awful.
There were players, I think it was Caleb Martin, who got on the podcast a couple days later and said, yeah, we just made him go left. That was the game plan. Yeah. That seems like it's no longer the strategy.
Exactly. And so this is what I love about Jaylen's story. Jaylen had that moment last year where he had to sit in front of the cameras and say, I let the city down. My bad. Like, he had that moment, and it really motivated him. Like, it gave him that fire to be like, this will not happen to me again. And you see the work he put into his game, his craft. Like, it's just unbelievable, the transformation. Going from 8 turnovers in Game 7 last year to being not just Finals MVP, but Eastern Conference Finals MVP. I mean, come on, man. Put some respect on his name.
I love it. And last one out the door. This one might be a little tough for you as well, man. The Celtics, obviously, now that they are the champions, they have to have a ring night. And I'm curious, which team would it mean more to the Boston Celtics to play on ring night to open up next NBA season? Would it be the Los Angeles Lakers, who the Celtics broke the tie with to get that 18th banner? Do you want to do that in front of LeBron and company and JJ Redick now, by the way, or the Miami Heat, the city they chose to come and celebrate with, and also really their biggest rival when you think about this iteration of the Boston Celtics? The reason why Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis are on this Celtics team is because they couldn't get through that wall that is the Miami Heat, right? Like Jaylen Brown improved his game because of what the Heat did to him in the Eastern Conference Finals. Which battle would mean more for this Celtics team for ring night, the Lakers or the Heat?
Oh, there's no question it's the Lakers, bro. I mean, they were tied with 17 championships, and we just passed them. Like, is that a question? You want LeBron and them to see that for sure. You want every single person wearing purple and gold in that building to know that the Celtics have the most championships in the NBA.
See, I hate that you said that because now I feel like the NC State to Duke in North Carolina as a Heat fan. Like, I really feel so belittled by that comment. Kari Thompson with Celtics.com. You can check his workout. Follow him on Twitter at Kari Thompson. Enjoy it, man, and I'll see you later on this summer.
Let's go. Thanks for having me on, bro. Love the show.
That was Kari Thompson holding it down on the Baptist Health Hotline with the Celtics or Boston.com. Keep saying that. Is joint pain affecting your quality of life? At Baptist Health Orthopedic Care, our team is experienced in traditional joint replacement, surgery, as well as less invasive treatments with the goal of getting you to what you love as quickly as possible. Learn more by visiting baptisthealth.net/ortho today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care combines its resources of experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology to provide advanced orthopedic, foot and ankle, joint replacement, spine, and sports medicine care. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho for more information today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has offices conveniently located in Palm Beach County through the Florida Keys. Learn more by visiting baptisthealth.net/ortho.
Time now for the coolest moment of the week. Presented by EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing. EDS is yes.
Now, my guy Ed Sasso with EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing, he wouldn't appreciate what Kari said, belittling the Miami Heat and the rivalry with the Celtics. But you know what? You ain't got to apologize for much when you win a championship, and that's what the Celtics did. Jaylen Brown, Finals MVP, but of course the post-game interview and the coolest moment of the week. Well, cool to him, corny to us. Here's Jason Tatum, his contrived speech, his moment in the sun, and he did this.
It's a surreal feeling. We did it. We did it!
Oh, my. Can I get that one more time? The coolest moment of the week. Only in Jason Tatum's head. We did it!
It's a surreal feeling. We did it. We did it!
Yeah. I mean, it just don't hit like that. I'm sorry for the Celtics, but it's still cool to hang an 18th banner and to be able to do so in 5 games against the Dallas Mavericks. Congrats to the Celtics. That'll be the last we talk about this on Theoretically Speaking. But we're always talking about EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing here. I mean, my wife told me the other day, one of the simple joys, one of the simple gratitudes in life is the fact that we have a roof over our head. We have a home. But being a homeowner can be stressful at times, especially if you're not locked in with a good air conditioning and plumbing team. But we are. Since 2006, EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing, they've been servicing South Florida, and it's second to none. They're trained comfort specialists, and it's hard to stop a train. EDS is yes. Jump on, go to edsairconditioning.com. My favorite thing about setting an appointment with EDS is when you have a technician about to come, they give you an alert. They say a technician is on the way. Then they send a nice profile and a picture of who's coming to service your home. I usually get my guy Randy. Me and Randy, both Miami Hurricanes fans. We've bonded over that. But also the great thing is we just got our whole AC unit flipped. And EDS, they care about you as a customer. They care about your health, your comfortability, your family, your home. So even after we've had everything revamped and everything's going A-OK, I've been checked in on like 2 or 3 times. They're making sure not only do you do a good job up front, but you check your work and you show your work and you show that you care. And that level of care you can only get with a family-owned and operated company like EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing, edsairconditioning.com. See, Kat, I would hate to say I was right. Well, I wouldn't. No, I'm generally right. And I was right about one thing in particular. I remember when LeBron James's wife, Savannah James, came out with her podcast or did that preview. I'm not even sure if it's come out yet. I said, guys, this is trouble. This is a problem. And the reason I say that is these athletes are so coated with their appearance. They're so coated with their brand. And you let your significant other, the one that knows every single deep, dark secret about you and your past, and some things can get out there that you don't want the general public knowing. And that's exactly how one Super Bowl winning superstar quarterback is feeling today in the National Football League. His wife what she said has you and I, C-Cat, shook.
Jaw dropped.
It's ugly. We discussed that and more, theoretically speaking, on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
Come on, Sasha Barkov. Let me see you, Carter Verhaeghe. I need something Matthew Tkachuk. Can't let Jason Tatum be the only kid from St. Louis to lock it up. All right? We're going Cats crazy tonight. Stanley Cup Final Game 6. It's on the road. It's on the road. Panthers, Oilers. Can the Panthers seal it up tonight? We'll find out. But since it's on the road, you need a place to watch, and I'll give you the perfect spot. Duffy's Sports Grill. That's where they're going Cats crazy right now. Head on over to your nearest Duffy's. You can catch every minute of Florida's quest to win it all. With over 80 televisions in every location, you won't miss a single minute of the action of, again, what we hope to be the final game of the final. You get every goal, every save, every single big hit. And let's hope it's all the Cats delivering those. And you can catch it all at your nearest Duffy's Sports Grill. Duffy's, once again, voted the best sports grill in 2024 with their award-winning burgers and award-winning wings. And, hey, no matter how well the game is going, you know you got the 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. That makes every game better. Win, lose, draw, 2-for-1 drinks. Who loses? Nobody. Not you. Burgers, wings, drinks, and the hockey championship. Enjoy it all at the Duffy Sports Grill near you. At Duffy's, our game is always on. We'll talk some Cats and Oilers a little later as well, but I got to dig right into this. This right here is just completely awful, and I won't even waste your time setting it up because you need to hear it. Matthew Stafford, I don't want to say he got embarrassed because I haven't spoken to the man, but I will say it is embarrassing. I have secondhand embarrassment over what his wife, Kelly Stafford, admitted on the Caitlin Bristow podcast, Off the Vine. Here it is, her making an admission from their days back at UGA in college.
Long story short, it wasn't that cute of a relationship at first. I hated him. I loved him. I dated the backup to piss him off.
What?
Oh,
yes.
He was like,
that'll do it.
He was the bad boy, too. Like, Matthew's so sweet and Southern gentleman and all that stuff.
Wait, pause it right quick. Stop that. We had to play it again. Listen to the way she said he was the bad boy, too. One more time.
Story short, it wasn't that cute of a relationship at first. I hated him. I loved him. I dated the backup to piss him off, which worked.
Yes.
He was like,
that'll do it.
He was the bad boy, too. Like, Matthew's so sweet and Southern gentleman and all that stuff. And the backup was the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Ooh, and it upset him.
There is nothing worse. There might be nothing worse than not only your current wife. I mean, she said that with a bit of nostalgia.
Yeah.
When she said he was the bad boy.
She was picturing him.
Admitting her past, excavations. Or, well, I said excavations. That's not the word I was looking for. Expeditions. Admitting them. But then also them talking about it being a former teammate of yours. And he was the bad boy, too. Like, that was a little freaky, Kelly Stafford.
The bad boy is a good thing.
Yes.
Right? That's a thing you admire when it comes to dating, no?
You don't want your wife to be talking about a guy in her past being the bad boy. You want him to be like, oh, he was a great guy. He was a cool dude. Like, we enjoyed our time together. That's better to hear than, oh, he was a bad boy. He was real edgy.
Mm-hmm. He made me feel something.
Bruh. That's what she said. And it sounded like he made her feel something that she hadn't felt in some time.
Oh.
So Matthew Stafford.
Matty Ice.
Matt, I for one, I feel for you. There's secondhand embarrassment. Again, we don't know what he said. We haven't gotten any rebuttal from Matthew Stafford, but that's ugly. The worst part about this is there's people speculating online who that might have been, going back to the UGA days, looking at backup quarterbacks. It's all ugly, but it got us thinking on here. What are the top 5 worst guys for your wife to have dated before you? Top 5 worst guys for your wife to have dated. Now, obviously, if you're a football quarterback and the guy that's a backup in your locker room is dating your wife, your future wife, that's an ugly scenario.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want that. But that's what we're going to do right here. Friday, a top 5 Friday on Theoretically Speaking. We're going to give you our top 5 worst guys for your wife to have dated. It's a top 5 Friday.
Top 5, no debating. Top 5.
And the Top 5 Friday is brought to you by Discover the Palm Beaches. You already know the hashtag. It's hashtag love the Palm Beaches. Let's start off with number 5. Top 5 guys, worst guys for your wife to have dated.
Number 5.
Your best friend. And the reason I say this is likely your best friend is a groomsman in your wedding, if not the best man. And if he has a history with your wife, have you seen the movie The Best Man, T-Cat?
I have not.
It ain't good. It ain't good. And in that movie, yes, there was a scenario in which the best man had relations with the husband's wife.
There's a non-zero chance that groomsman will like stop the wedding, like say now, forever hold your peace. He might say something now.
Yeah, or even worse, he says something later, like 10 years into your marriage, and you're like, that's something that you would not be able to erase from your mind or deal with. Plus, if it's your best friend, you have a real, genuine connection and relationship with the dude. So it's like, do you cut him off or do you get a divorce? Might have to be the latter.
Number 4.
A famous athlete. Top 5 worst guys for your wife to have dated. A famous athlete. Mainly, this is probably personal to me because it's like, if you're a big sports fan as well, and you're like rooting for teams and you're up to date with the sports news, and you see, you look and you're like, oh God, Trevor Lawrence just got the $200 million guaranteed extension.
Oh no.
And here I am scraping, just trying to get by.
What if you have like their jersey?
Oh,
you gotta throw it out. You can't wear the other man's jersey.
You gotta burn that jersey. You gotta burn that jersey, and you also have to become a hater of anything that guy does. Like, you're over here like, yo, I cannot stand Sebastian Telfair. What? I hate the dude. The Knicks suck. I hate Sebastian Telfair. Why? I'm not going to tell you why, because the dude used to date my wife.
Number 3.
Number 3, top 5 guys, worst guys for your wife to have dated before you, your current coworker. I'm not the jealous type. I'm not the type to get all super involved in the past of my wife, but if I had the current knowledge that somebody here at ESPN West Palm had dated my wife before me, I just don't know. Like, I would be having to set him up. I would have to set him up and get him out of here. I'd be like, yo, come on the show, man. You know, get a couple drinks in him beforehand, trick him into saying a cuss word. Hey, FCC violation, get him out of here. He's done.
You're gone.
Can't have that.
No.
Can't have that in my place of work. That's ugly.
Oh, like,
current coworker
like asks about her.
Oh my gosh! Or when you bring her to the company happy hour, and they do like a quick 10-minute catch up.
No. How's your dog?
Oh no! Then it's like she's showing the pictures of the dog. Oh my God, he's so big now.
Right, they adopted the dog when they were together. No.
Somebody's not leaving that happy hour.
That dog never respects you, Theo.
It doesn't.
That's not.
Oh my gosh! What if she brings the dog like to work one day, picking you up, and the dog remembers him?
No.
And he's like, he runs up to him, and before he even, the dog don't even run up to you no more. He runs up to that guy, and you got to go into work. You got to clock in and see him the next day. Absolutely awful. Again, the top 5 worst guys for your wife to have dated before you, based off of Kelly Stafford admitting that Matthew Stafford's former backup quarterback in college was an old fling of hers. Number 2.
Number 2.
Her current coworker.
It somehow got worse.
When I first thought that this couldn't, like, the worst possible thing was to walk into work and be like side by side a teammate with a guy that used to date your wife. Imagine your wife goes off to work 8 hours a day, weekdays, every day, and works side by side with a guy that she used to lay side by side with.
That's her work hubby.
Oh my gosh, it's automatically a work. They have a history. They have chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
They know each other in the biblical sense. I would hate that. And also, man, just imagine like when she has to go on an out-of-town work trip. They got conferences to hit.
No.
There's a company happy hour going on. You're out of town, so you can't pull up, and it's just them, and it lasts until like 9:30.
You're breaking my heart.
She's texting back slow. You're like, yo, where you at? 30 minutes pass. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. We got caught up in conversation. The nachos are great here.
He can talk to her about work a lot better than you can because you can't relate.
All the inside baseball stuff, like she's really struggling with something at work. The boss is really picking at her and whatnot, so she calls him up for advice on what to do. They're on the phone for an hour and a half.
Work drama? Oh, no.
That's ugly. That's over with. She got to change jobs. Again, I'd have to go in there and figure out a way to set him up as well. Y'all can't be working together, especially my wife's a art director, so she works closely in tandem with somebody. Like, they have to talk all the time, her partner. If her partner was an ex of hers, not going to work.
This is like a Jim Pam situation in the office.
Oh my,
I had to walk in and kick some ass like Roy did. He got pepper sprayed.
You got to get in there. If not, hey man, you're leaving yourself up to jeopardy, man. You can't put yourself in that situation. Matthew Stafford, this is what you should have did. You should have handled business. I guess he did. He went to the NFL.
Number one
on the Top 5 Friday, the worst guys for your wife to have dated. And this one, I mean, it eclipses all. An immediate relative. And I had to put immediate relative in that one because I'm talking like a sibling or dare I say a parent?
Yeah, or
you can't cut them off.
Or a son.
Oh my God.
We don't have kids yet, but I'm putting myself 25 years in the future. I don't know.
Do you understand what you're saying here?
Well, it's like the movie The Step Brothers. Like, I've had the old bull, now I want the young calf.
But
wait, the other way around. I've had the young calf, now I'm getting the young. Yeah.
But you're talking about your wife here, so it would be somebody you're married to, and unless you had this son out of wedlock, that would be his mom, C-Cat. That would be that kid's mom.
Yeah, you're right.
So I hope you wouldn't have to worry about your son.
We'll stick to siblings. All right. Yeah.
Sweet home Alabama. Woo. That was the Top 5 Friday. Again, we'll go back through the list. Top 5 worst guys for your wife to have dated. Number 5, best friend. 4, famous athlete. 3, your current coworker. 2, her current coworker. And number 1, the immediate relative. We'll tweet that out. Get your opinions on those. Sweet home Palm Beach County. That's what we say. Not really. We say hashtag love the Palm Beaches, and that's what Discover the Palm Beaches wants you to do, and you can win some monthly prizes when you do. We as residents of Palm Beach County know how spectacular it is living here in paradise, and we want you to show that off to your family, to your friends, anybody that doesn't get to enjoy the 561 on the level that we do. So go to your favorite hangout spot, maybe a specific field you used to play sports at, or your favorite restaurant. Take a picture, take a video, and hashtag it love the Palm Beaches. And all summer long, when you do that, you have a great opportunity to win vacations, dining cards, all kinds of prizes and gifts, courtesy of Discover the Palm Beaches. All you got to do is go on social media, hashtag love the Palm Beaches, and then go online at lovethepalmbeaches.com/love. Again, that's lovethepalmbeaches.com/love. You fill out that form, you tweet out or post on Instagram a picture of your favorite spot, and boom, you could be riding high with prizes up to your neck. Discover the Palm Beaches, hashtag love the Palm Beaches. Show up and show out. C-Cat, that was a testy one right there on Theoretically Speaking. I would say we went beyond the bounds that we typically do here. Do you think the bosses are going to be okay with that?
That was my favorite segment we've done in 51 episodes of this show.
It absolutely was. So you know what? If they're mad at us, so be it. We'll just dial it up as an accident, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of accidents, I mean, these South Florida roads get a little crazy. Car accident, truck accident, maybe a slip and fall. We know the guys to call. Anajar and Levine. Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine, they will fight for you because they don't get paid unless you do. They'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. So call Anajar and Levine for your free consultation. Don't settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine. That's the Anajar and Levine difference. It takes just one phone call to take back control of your life. So take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Anajar and Levine, accident attorneys. And hey, maybe it was an accident, a mistake for Kelly Stafford to reveal that information, but this is exactly why I would be petrified if my wife was on a podcast as often as she is. It just, all the trade secrets. Everything that's behind closed doors. Maybe Matt Stafford already knew about that, but now we all do, and I cannot forget it. When I see him lining up for the Rams this fall, I'll be thinking about how, well, yeah, that's ugly for you. What could be pretty for you is taking it to the house this weekend. We do that with you when we come back. As C-Cat, I'm Theo Dorsey. Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is Theoretically Speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
Y'all know exactly what time it is. You hear the music. You know it's Friday. We just wrapped up a Top 5 Friday. Now it's time to take it to the house. You already know the house, West Palm Beach. They're open Thursday through Sunday. You can take it to the house every weekend. But the one thing I want you to take to the house this weekend, we've got Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final tonight. You can hear it right here on ESPN 106.3. Puck scheduled to drop around 8. And I'm feeling the Cats craze. I'm feeling like that's a team that doesn't want to be part of history, doesn't want to have a Game 7 at home on Monday with it all on the line. The Florida Panthers find a way tonight. Take it to the house. The Cats are bringing home the cup. They will not fly home from Edmonton empty-handed. Lord Stanley Cup is coming back to Sunrise and gear up for a championship parade. I heard what you had to say, Jason Tatum, about it being easy in Miami. Well, the route's going to be very easy for the Florida Panthers when they come back to South Florida because they are not going to be empty-handed. They are going to be the ones to win the first Stanley Cup championship in franchise history. Woo! I love that. Take it to the house this weekend and take that take to the house with you as well. And I hope you tee up your taste buds because when you go to the house this weekend at the park, you have the option of also playing the Lit 9 with every entree you buy at the park or at the house, the restaurant. You gift yourself an opportunity to play the Lit 9 at the park for free. And might I tell you, it is an amazing experience, almost as amazing as the elegant experience, the vibes, and the food at the house at the park. I mean, I've had a couple different entrees there. The chicken and waffles hit, right? The shrimp Cobb salad hit. The lobster corn dogs smacked. See, Cat, I got to take you over to the house one of these weekends and show you the delicacies that are coastal American cuisine.
I'm waiting for the invite.
It's coming. It's coming. I've been a little tied up and busy. But you can lock in right now. Make your reservations right now. The House, West Palm Beach. Again, you can get a time at the Lit 9 with any entree you purchase, as well as the fact that you get to enjoy some nice eating and nice drinking and kicking it sitting right off that 18 hole. Right there at the park. It's amazing. Get the views, everything spectacular. Check out the house this weekend and take it to the house. The Cats going crazy. See, Cat, last time we talked about the Florida Panthers, you said they weren't going to do it. Do you have that feeling tonight for Game 6?
I think we're going to 7. I think we've got a pressure-packed Game 7 on tap on Monday.
Cool the Jets. Find a way to stop Connor McDavid, and we'll be living nice. High school game day is next. Go in love, go in peace, go in joy. It's Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3.